the Giant 40. Fredrickson all by himself. Cuts back beautifully.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. And welcome to the Gridiron. And before I just get started, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who's watched my videos, or maybe subscribe to my channel, or maybe give my videos a thumbs up, or left a comment, or anything at all. I greatly appreciate it. Just trying to get my channel up and running. Anything you guys can do to help me out, I greatly appreciate. So thank you so much. In the all-time great series with the New York Giants, I saw another article. I'll leave a link in the description box. You can check it out if you like. But it's the New York Giants top 10 wide receivers of all time. It's on. Looks like it's on Fansided. So as I said, I'll leave a link. And you can check it out if you like. Once again, it's all very subjective. The list they got here, it's it's hard to argue. I just got a couple little things I'll throw in here or there, but for the most part, it's pretty much spot on. Some of it, is as far as the order, that's very subjective. You could change some of the stuff around, but as far as the guys on the top 10, it's pretty much spot on. As far as what I see. As I grew up and watching the Giants in the 70s. The first year, I remember watching them. It was 1970. So, but like the early 70s, the Giants had like Clifton McNeil, and they had Don Herman and Bob Grimm and Walker Gillette, and so they had some guys that could catch the ball, but really, we went from 1970 to probably almost 1999, because we got Amani Toomer in 96, but 96, 97, 98, he really didn't catch, he wasn't really taking off. 1999, I believe he caught 79 passes, and that's when his career started taking off. So we went kind of we had Homer Jones, who was on this list, and I'll go into him more in detail in a moment, but we had him up to 1969. 1969, we traded him away to the Browns. We got running back Ron Johnson, who was one of the best running backs the Giants have ever had. With many guys, his career was cut short due to knee injuries. We got defensive tackle Jim Kinnicky from him. So that you could say it wound up being a good trade for the Giants, but we did lose a spectacular wide receiver. So after we let Homer Jones go in 1969, it wasn't until 1999, pretty much, when Amani Toomer started taking off. And we had some guys had a little career here, good year here, good year there, but no guy really blossomed and took off. So we went almost 30 years, without having a really good wide receiver. And there was some tough years, especially wide receiver wise. But anyway, let's start with the list here. Okay, got number 10, Ike Hilliard. All right, I remember when he drafted him the first round, right, in 1997. Picked number 7 overall. He was with the Giants from 1997 to 2004. He played, in our 2000 season when we went to the Super Bowl. He wound up, his career, he had a lot of injuries. He wound up, he went after the Giants. He went to Tampa Bay, but he had some injuries, which certainly hampered his career. He wound up with 368 catches for the Giants, 40,630 yards, 27 touchdowns. He was always putting his body on the line, every play, every catch that he had. But he, as I said, he was injured a lot. He only played in 2 games in his rookie season. Actually, in the second game of the season against Jacksonville, he took a hit, injured some vertebrae. I think he had to have 2 of them fused together, and he missed the whole rest of the season. Throughout his career, I believe he had a separated shoulder. Dislocated shoulder. I think he broke his foot. He had a bruised sternum, and he had bruised lungs, and then he had his two vertebrae got fused together his first season with, so he played, he was a, he gave his body up, let me tell you, for the love of the game, let me tell you what. But he was a very, very good wide receiver, certainly, worth him being on this list. Obviously if he wasn't as hurt as much as he was, he certainly would have had a lot more catches, more yards, and more touchdowns, but that's life in the pros, but you're going to start seeing, I'm going to go over, you're going to start seeing a little injury flavor to this video here as we go along, right? Then they got number 9 is Chris Callaway, from 1992 to 1998. Now, he led the Giants in receptions for 4 straight years, from 95 to 98. Those were kind of some lean years for the Giants. He wound up with 334 receptions in his career, 4,710 yards, and he had 27 touchdowns. But, this is one of those ones, it's, you put him on there, the 4 years that he led the Giants in receptions, he had 56 receptions, he had 53 receptions, he had 58 receptions, and he had 62. It wasn't like he had 80-something or 70-something or 90, there was other guys. He had 27 touchdowns in his career. There was a guy, Bob Schnelker, who played from 54 to 1960 with the Giants. He had 183 receptions for 3,232 yards, but he had 29 touchdowns. And they only played, back when he played from 54 to 60, they only played 12 game seasons. So if he played 16 game seasons like Chris Callaway, he would have had well into the 30s as far as touchdowns, and we would have had a lot more than 3,200 yards receiving. I can guarantee you that. There was Lionel Manuel, from 1984 to 1990. He got 2 Super Bowl victories with us, but we wound up with 23 touchdowns, but we weren't like much of a throwing team. We would defense and run the ball, but, he had 23 touchdowns. Then we had, Ernest Gray. Ernest Gray, he was good as far as trying to like stretch the field, okay? He played from 1979 to 1984. He had 243 receptions, which, for the Giants back then wasn't too bad because their offense was not very good. He went up with 3,768 yards receiving, and he had 27 touchdowns. On a not a very good offensive team, that's pretty good. Just to show you, in his rookie season, 1979, he had 19.2 yards per catch. So he was pretty good at stretching the field. So the Chris Callaway, I could see that. Can't really strongly disagree with that. But the 27 touchdowns he had, there were other guys who had pretty much about as many as he did. But he led the Giants for the 4 years in a row. So, okay, we'll go with it. Number 8 on the list, you got Del Schaffner. All right, he was with the Giants from 1961 to 1967. He was with the Rams from 57 to 60. First 4 years of his career was with the Rams. Then we got him. So he was with the Giants for 3 championship games, 1961, 62, 63. Of course, we lost all of them, but he was a 3-time Pro Bowler from 1961 to 63, 3-time All-Pro from 1961 to 63. His time with the Giants, he had 239 catches. He had 4,315 yards, and he had 35 touchdowns. All right, and he was voted on the NFL's All 1960s team. He was a very good wide receiver. We got him in 1961. Okay, that's the same year we got Y.A. Tittle. So when Tittle played with us for 4 years, from 61 to 64, Tittle and Schaffner, they hooked up quite a bit. So that's another one of the reasons why Schaffner did such a great job with us, because we have Y.A. Tittle, Hall of Fame quarterback. So Del Schaffner, he certainly deserves to be on this list, and he's number 8. Then they got number 7 is Kyle Rote. Now, Kyle Rote was with us from 1951 to 1961. He played in 4 championship games. He won in 1956, 1958, 59, and 61. He played in, but we lost all 3 of those. He was the first overall pick. 1951, okay? He ended up his career with 300 receptions for 4,797 yards, 48 touchdowns. He was a 4-time Pro Bowler. He was on the 1956 NFL championship team. Okay, he played in the 4 championship games, and he's in the College Football Hall of Fame. He played for SMU, and he was also the New York Giants captain for 8 years before he retired. So he certainly deserves to be on this list as well, and he's number 7. Then number 6, we have my man, Homer Jones. Love this guy. Unfortunately, I started watching football in 1970, and his last year with the Giants was 1969, so I never really got the chance to see him play. But he was like a home run hitter. He was with the Giants from 1964 to 1969, right? He was a 2-time Pro Bowler in 1967 and 1968, and he wound up his career with the Giants having 214 receptions, 4,845 yards, and 35 touchdowns, right? But just to go to show you, I mean, what a difference maker he was. What he stretched the field. 1964, he averaged 20.5 yards a reception. 1965, he averaged 27.3 yards a reception. 1966, 21.8 yards a reception. 1967, he averaged 24.7 yards a reception. 1968, he averaged 23.5 yards a reception. 1966, him and Earl Morrall hooked up on a 98-yard touchdown pass. I mean, he could stretch the field. He's also credited, with coming up with the spike. 1965, he said something along the lines. He said, "Yeah, I seen Frank Gifford scoring touchdowns, and I seen Paul Hornig scoring touchdowns. And after they'd score touchdowns, they'd throw the ball up in the stands." So he's like, when 1965 rolls around, I'm gonna throw the ball up in the stands. Well, in the off season, from 64 to 65, they changed the rules. So if you threw the ball in the stands, it was a $500 fine. $500 fine. I mean, for some of the guys back then, that's like 1/20th of their salary. So when Homer Jones scored his first touchdown in 1965, he's running in the end zone, and he was saying, he's like, "Yeah, my intentions was to throw the ball in the stands, but I remember that in the off season they changed it's a fine, a $500 fine if you throw the ball in the stands. So instead of throwing the ball in the stands, I just threw the ball on the ground." He said that's the origin of the spike, and he was laughing when he said it. So I got a kick out of that. I mean, I guess I can't blame the guy. But after 1969, he got traded to the Browns in 1970. And the almighty trivial pursuit question is, who scored the first kickoff return touchdown in Monday Night Football history? Ding, 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 ding. Homer Jones. First game ever, Monday Night Football. He returned the opening kickoff back for the Cleveland Browns against the New York Jets. Now, that was very important during the game because the Browns won 31-21, but however, with about 2 minutes to go, the Jets had the ball and they were trying to go down, at least get a field goal, maybe tie the game up. It was 24-21, so Joe Namath had to throw the ball. So he dropped back the pass on this one particular play, threw a ball, got picked off, got run back for a touchdown. That made it 31-21. But however, without Homer Jones's touchdown on the kickoff, it might have been, Jets might have been up 21-17, and they would have had to throw the ball, and maybe the Jets might have won that game. But Homer Jones scored the first kickoff return touchdown in Monday Night Football history. So he certainly deserves to be number 6 on this, because he was from 64 to 69, they had some bad teams, I'll tell you. And so he certainly deserves to be on this list. But as I said, once we traded him away from 69 to like 99, it was like a big void there of lack of good quality talent, wide receiver wise. Anyway, number 5, of course, we got Plexico Burress. He was only with us for 2005, 2006, 2007, and most of 2008 until he shot himself in the leg. He wound up his career with the Giants, 244 receptions, 3,681 yards, and 33 touchdowns. Right, but he was like the missing piece. When he first came in 2005, we had Amani Toomer, we had Jeremy Shockey, we had Tiki Barber, we had Eli Manning. But we really could have used like a mismatch. I mean, he was 6'5". Once we got him, man, things just changed big time. And we would have won back-to-back Super Bowls if he didn't shoot himself in the leg in 2008. But One of his biggest things, I mean, other than catching the game-winning pass in the 2007 Super Bowl from Eli Manning, one of the things he just goes to show you, like, what he meant was in the 2007 championship game up in Green Bay. All right, he was going up against Al Harris, who was a very good cornerback. He just ate him up and spit him out. He caught 11 balls in -1 degree temperatures with the wind chill. It was like in the minus teens. He caught 11 passes for 150. He just bitch slapped him the whole game. 151 yards receiving, 11 catches. He just couldn't cover him. He just could not cover him. I mean, if you could just throw the ball up high, he'd catch the ball up high. I mean, he'd run, he'd cut in, and he would just block him off. He'd catch a little slant pass. He just couldn't cover him. I mean, he was it. He was the missing piece. And he only played, and he got, shot himself in the leg in 2008, and pretty much his career was pretty much over after that, But boy, what an unbelievable pickup he was for us. So he certainly deserves, the short amount of time he was with us, only not even quite 4 years, he certainly deserves to be on this list. He's number 5. Then we got number 4, the salsa man, Victor Cruz, 2010 to 2016. Pretty much, his first year in 2010, he really hardly didn't see the field at all. 2011 is when he took off, right? But so he had in kind of pretty much 2011, 2012, 2013, and then, he had about half of 2014. So his first, 3.5 years was when he really took off with the Giants. He had 303 receptions, all right? 4,549 yards, 25 touchdowns. Okay, it's 3.5 seasons. All right, unfortunately, he tore his patella tendon versus the Eagles, and pretty much his career, was over after that. He came back. He missed the rest of 2014. He missed all 2015. He came back in 2016. He caught 39 receptions in 2016 for 586 yards and 1 touchdown. But it was a big touchdown. It was the first game of the year against the Cowboys. It was a game-winning catch with 6 minutes and 13 seconds left, and we beat the Cowboys in Dallas. That was obviously the year that we went to the playoffs, and when we beat the Cowboys 20-19. So that was the big touchdown. He only had the one, but after that his career was over. So once again, he got hurt. Then we got number 4. So we got Plexico. He got hurt. Victor Cruz. He got hurt. Then we got number 3, Hakeem Nicks. He got hurt. He was with us from 2009 to 2013. All right, he caught 318 balls, 4,676 yards. He caught 27 touchdowns. In the 2011 playoffs alone, he did phenomenal. He had 28 receptions for 444 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns. Who can ever forget that alley-oop at the end of the first half? Eli Manning throwing the ball up and Hakeem Nicks coming down, catching the ball in the corner of the end zone there for a touchdown just as the first half expired. Who can forget that? Boy, I'll tell you, he was very instrumental. Tell you what, but when he was healthy, he was one of the best wide receivers in all of football. But he got hurt. His career ended short. Just to go to show you, you think from 2007 to 2014 when 2007 when Jeremy Shockey, not a wide receiver, but when Jeremy Shockey got hurt, okay? He broke his leg against the Redskins. Just think of the quality that we lost in these years, right? 2007 to 2014, right? Jeremy Shockey got hurt, broke his leg. Plexico Burress shot himself in the leg. Steve Smith, who holds the Giants' all-time reception for a single season with 170, he hurt his leg. He got hurt, so he was never the same. Victor Cruz, he got hurt. He was never the same. Hakeem Nicks, he was battling injuries. All right. Then we had Mario Manningham. He got hurt. He was always hurt. Just think of the guys that we the talent that we had. That just from those 7-8 years right there. The guys that just got hurt. It's the name of the game. But just think of all of the games that we lost because of the talent that we had, that we drafted and all, and they just got hurt. such a shame. But I mean, that's life in the football. But I mean, it's the flavor. You know, what I mean, we had a lot of talent, but a lot of them just started getting hurt. That takes us to our top two. Now, what they got here? They got Odell Beckham number 2 and Amani Toomer number 1. I mean, if you're talking, you know, I mean, if you're talking like putting Odell Beckham in number 2 because he liked attention and he got into trouble and he did stupid things and all that, and that's why he's number 2. And his career wasn't as long with the Giants. He didn't get the numbers maybe quite that Amani Toomer did. Okay, I can understand, but yeah, I mean, I guess it's what they did with the Giants, I guess. But I mean, if you're telling me, it's like the best receiver, the best receiver Giants ever had was Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, if you tell me I want to put one wide receiver out on the field for the Giants, all right, if we need to make a catch, who's it going to be? Odell. I'm not putting Amani Toomer out there. I'm putting Odell Beckham Jr. out there. Odell Beckham Jr. averaged 78 catches a reception while he was, Amani Toomer averaged 51 a year. Odell Beckham Jr. averaged 1,095 yards of receiving yards per year with the Giants. Amani Toomer averaged 730. Odell Beckham Jr. averaged 9 touchdown receptions a season. Amani Toomer averaged 4. I guess they're putting it up. Amani Toomer is number 1 because he was with the Giants from '96 to 2008. He holds the all-time record for receptions, all-time reception. He almost has 10,000 yards receiving for the Giants. He did a phenomenal job. He was a model athlete for the Giants organization and all of that. For so many years. So I guess that's why they're putting him here. But if we're talking, talent-wise and, what he did on the field and what he could do at any given play. I mean, Amani Toomer wasn't taking it to the house on any given play. Odell Beckham Jr. could, any given play. I mean, let's just go back to the 1 year that we had the best talent-wise running back, okay? Tiki Barber holds all the records, all right? And that may not ever be broken because if Saquon keeps getting hurt, he's never going to break Tiki's records. But talent-wise, we had the 1 year, right? We had Saquon Barkley, Odell Beckham Jr., and Eli Manning, the best quarterback, the best wide receiver, and the best running back on the field at the same time for 1 year with the New York Giants, right? Which was 2018. But the one game that they had played against Carolina, of course, the Giants wound up losing on the last second field goal from Graham Gano. But anyway, Eli Manning gets the ball, throws the ball to Odell Beckham Jr. Now, when Odell Beckham Jr.'s got the ball, all hands are on deck. Everybody, all eyes are on him. Everybody's collapsing on him because you got to contain the guy or he's going to take it to the house. Well, he was behind the line of scrimmage, but they were paying so much attention to him that they let Saquon Barkley slip out of the backfield, and he was wide open down the sideline. Odell Beckham Jr. throws the ball to him. He catches it, waltzes in for a touchdown. Why? Because Odell Beckham Jr. had the ball. He can, any given play, he could take it to the house. Amani Toomer couldn't. So for my money, I got Odell Beckham and his silly, stupid antics. I got him number 1. I have Amani Toomer number 2. But it is what it is. Well, guys, always thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!